patriotism, dignity of labor, self-reliance, social justice, and religious tolerance. But today we will be talking about social justice. When we see incidents that we can connect to these core values, for better understanding, we talk about these core values and we talk about the issues in relation to what the core values expect of us. Remember, it's not about practicing one, it is practicing every single one of them because they are all interrelated. Now, for social justice, let's try and lay a foundation for the conversation here. For social justice, it says that it is the capacity to organize with others to accomplish ends that benefit the whole community. Now, it is the fair and just relation between the individual and the society. Now, law means all the rules established by authority or custom for regulating the behavior of members of a community. And we know that rules are a statement of what can, should, or must be done in particular circumstances. So, yes, we're talking about social justice today. We'll leave Kamal to do more of the introduction for us.
Right. Thank you very much, everyone. And just as Martha has rightfully established, actually the capacity to organize with others to accomplish the ends that benefits the whole community, right? It means that the community have to be organized, right? And then there are certain things that are put in place to ensure that this organization that we demand or we want to see in our community is being met, right? And one of the things that in your definition you have stated, you have mentioned fair and just relation, right? So whatever it is, this capacity that you possess, right, is that you have to be fair to everyone, right? And there must be equity in your dealings, in your dishing out of whatever it is that the law, right, have compelled you or have given you the capacity to dish out, right? But then all of this, the fair and just actually does not end there, right? Okay. It has to do with the individuals, right, which is the citizen, right? You as a citizen, and then the society have appointed, has elected, has identified people with high decorum, with high moral standards that should be able to have this capacity to be fair, right, and relate justly. So it's very important that we have this in place. But you cannot talk about social justice also without authority. Now, those people who were elected, who were assigned, are who the authority is. And just for the way of definition, what is authority? Is the delegated power to make a decision or take actions by an individual or groups. So from this definition, we know that we have the likes of the police, the civil defense, even the judicial system, right, to be put in place. That means that not just any individual could take an action. And an action, even by these people that have been assigned so much power, cannot just be taken on their own until they go through a chain, right, or they go through a process of vetting, of agreeing, of doing everything before they agree to whatever punishment or whatever thing that needs to be done. But not to forget that there are rules, right? You can't just have law, you can't have authority, right, without rules. And these rules are just basically a statement of what can or should be or must be done in a particular circumstance. So it's basic, it's something that have been written down. It's something that we all have come into agreement that we will heed to. It's like a creed that we live by. You see that you are fined 5,000 naira when you urinate here, right? You are fined, you will be imprisoned 2 years. So almost every citizen ought to know what these rules are, right? And if we do not know, it needs to be taught to us. We need to also find out that rule because this is the power that we possess, especially when it goes against us or something, right? So that's one thing that needs to be done. The rules has to be established. It has to be in an agreed template or agreed book or institution, and then we will now then know what the law will do. Maybe in situations where citizens do not heed. Yeah, so what does the law talk about? And what law basically means the rules established by these authorities, which is the police, the judicial, or custom for regulating the behavior of members of the community. Because in all honesty, without these rules, then we won't have a community, or we will have just a jungle at the end of the day. And we know what jungle is all about.
Everybody does.
And this is where this conversation is steering to, right? Because if you look at it, everybody does what he likes, right? He sees what does not belong to him, he carries. He sees someone and he harms that person, and then you don't expect a retaliation. There would be a retaliation, and just picture the chaos and the jeopardy in this. But one thing, right, I would like to inform you, the good news is that Nigeria is an organized society, a lawful and not lawless society, and we actually have all the capacity to be socially just.
Now, Kamal, let's relate this conversation to the, of course, happening which we've seen everywhere. Blogs have taken up this information. I think I and Rachel, we talked a bit about it on the first hour of the show, is what happened in that market. That scenario right there. And there's so many things that you said in this conversation about how when you have set a rule, people now know that this is a rule. It's just like coming somewhere, you don't know what the rules are, so you just live by what you think are the rules. That way you cannot be punished. If you have not taught somebody right from wrong, you cannot punish that person for doing either wrong, because as far as that person is concerned, there's no right, there's no wrong here. Anything just goes. And this is why it's important to set rules, and it's also important to set bodies that are responsible for teaching and enforcing these rules. Now, when you have taught the rules, you can set punishments for people who break the rules. Now, when people don't clearly understand the consequence of their actions, it's easy for them to take action because they don't understand the consequence. So if you tell me, if I put my hand in fire, I will get burnt. Getting burnt is the consequence of putting my hand in fire. But if you don't tell me, you just tell me, don't put your hand in the fire.